Right, here we are at the bottom end of the Roman Road on what was my first bike, the BSA Bantam from 1956 that my son now owns. I thought it'd be nice to film a little ride on it. Handed down from father to son. My son has outgrown it. He's got a bit taller than me. It's a bit of a squeeze for me on this. And we lived no more than 8 miles from here back in 1976 when I first owned and rode this bike. It's nice to be riding it again. It certainly brings back some memories. Must be, what, actually 48 years, not far off, ago when I first owned and rode this machine. Like I say, I can't claim to own it anymore because I passed it on to my son, Ross, who very kindly let me dig it out of the shed, dust it down to do this on. That was a Hornet. I think he's gone. I hope he's gone. Just hit the side of my face. Don't want him getting in my helmet. I think he bumped into me and flew off. If I start shouting and yelling in a moment, we know he hasn't. I've even got my BSA t-shirt on. The BSA, we had a Hornet there. Always got to be careful along here because it's quite possible to meet things coming the other way. You never assume that you've got this place to yourself. This has actually got much more appropriate gearing for some of that green laning I've been doing recently with my friends. Got a very low first gear on it with that big sprocket they got on the back. Back in 1976, this, what we call the Roman Road, would have been maintained by the council and tarmacked from end to end. And the pub on my left is where the donor bike to sort of reincarnate this machine came from, without which I wouldn't have been able to do it. big thank you to Cliff for letting me have that bike. Interestingly enough, this machine has got some sort of electronic ignition on it, which we got with a load of bits off a guy. It's called an Atom. It never ran very well on points because the magneto's tired, but I fitted this Atom thing totally sort of skeptically because I never thought it was going to suddenly make everything work, but it did. Apparently they don't make them anymore. Very simple thing to fit. Tiny little thing it was. Why they don't make them anymore, I don't know. It just seemed to sort of do everything I could have asked for this one. I'm not a big fan of electronic ignitions usually for the sake of them, but when something won't run on what it's got, then it's worth a go. And it certainly seemed to be the case with this. My 1956 BSA Bantam that I bought in 1976. I think I used to push the thing more than I used to ride it. It had a very tired 150 engine in it when I bought it. This 175 engine I put together is pretty healthy. As you can see, it pulls well. But without this bike, I might never have actually started riding motorbikes, and there might never have been any performance classics either. All thanks to this one. Certainly deserved better than being carted off to the rubbish dump, which is where it was going to be heading if I hadn't got it. I see that someone with bigger bikes has dug a bit of a rut there. Anyway, nice to do this little ride for posterity. Now here's a nice little pump. I can put it on the side stand here and get off and have a look. Is it going to keep going? Is it going to stop? There's mountains of Clinavan behind it. Clansadon that way, Llanrwder that way. We'll go to the end of the Roman road, stop at the bottom because I'm not supposed to go on the roads on this. We've got no documents for it, even though I can remember what the registration was and I know what the frame number is. Perhaps one day we'll get something sorted for it. But it's nice just to do that couple of miles on it, get it on film. A nice memento from my younger days. I have to pull my stomach in and puff my chest out to get a decent camera angle. Probably good practice to do that really, isn't it? rides quite well over the bumps actually. I didn't do a half bad job of doing these forks. And the thumbnail that I'll add to this video will be the picture of me on it going around our garden at the time in 1976. And you'll see that although the colours have changed, and obviously the forks and a few other things, you'll see, or be able to see, a very similar looking machine. And that's because it is actually the same one. Of course, I'm going to stop filming here because, being the good boy that I am, I'm not going to ride this on the road, so that's where we leave it. My BSA Bantam from my childhood.